Hey, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to Otaku, back again with another Jump Tezuka manga contest review thing. The submissions are officially closed, so no more can you submit to this contest, but we're going to keep on chugging, we're going to keep on reviewing, all the way up until they decide who their official winner is. So for people who have not heard of the contest, and it's way too late now, the Jump Tezuka manga contest is a contest that's put on by the Tezuka Productions people, and it's got some outstanding judges this year. I'm talking author of Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Blue Exorcist, My Hero Academia, Slam Dunk, and then, of course, some of the people at Tezuka Productions. But you submit your manga. It's open to, I think, 4 or 5 different languages, and then you have the chance to get them judged and win a fat cash prize, as well as to get serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump. This week, we're going to be reading 3 new ones. There are, of course, more viewer submissions because we have just gotten an amazing list of viewer submissions to pick from. So the 3 we're doing this week, we'll be doing Dragon Sparking Dino Orphan, and he doesn't put his name on the front cover, so I'm just going to use his username, by Nathan K. McWilliams. And then we're going to do 7 Samurai Folding by Ryan Watanabe. And then we're going to do Red Sunday by Brian Williams. And those will be the 3 we do this week, and then we will ultimately pick the winner of the bunch, which one we think was the best, and that'll move on to the Ultimate Victory Battle Royale, where we pick a grand champion. So we're going to go ahead and start with Dragon Sparking Dino Orphan by, once again, Nathan K. McWilliams. So Dragon Sparking Dino Orphan, let me tell you about it. First of all, on the cover page, we see our main character, and it looks like someone who should be like almost a playable character of a side-scroller is immediately what I saw. Saw the cover, was like, oh, that looks like he'd be a video game character. And here we are now. We open up at Valhalland, or Valhalland, however you want to pronounce that. 11 years ago, we meet Vikir and his daughter Freya. They're doing some training, and of course they're like, hey, where's your brother? Why is he late? Classic anime scene comes up with the MC running out the door late, but instead of toast in his mouth, we have a big ass fucking chicken leg because he's a dino. You know, what do you expect? And that's where we meet Rip, the adopted dino boy, who once again is a dino boy. I want to reiterate here.
Yes.
And Vikir is the last martial ranger and is training both of them to one day be one as well. They spar for a little bit just to warm up, and that's when my boy Rip throws dirt into Freya's eyes, and then when she's
Dude, pocket
blinded,
sand, the first thing.
punches her right in the fucking chest. Get him. Get him. Obviously, if someone did that to you, you would be a little pissed. As Freya gets a little pissed and activates her spark, and it's called Lightning Reflexes, and the description is as such: when Freya activates her spark node, which is important, an electric energy field floods her body, allowing her to run faster than the eye can see. So kind of like Ichigo activating Bankai, a little bit. Which seems OP as fuck, because you find out Rip doesn't have his yet. So Freya proceeds to beat the shit out of him, slashes him through the chest, and then bonks him over the head so hard she breaks her wooden sword. So a little bit of a Mortal Kombat fatality happening there.
Yeah, I would say a huge rip right there.
Yeah, okay, so you're only allowed to say that once. You were no longer allowed to say a huge rip throughout the rest of the chapter. So
Oh, fuck me.
like any wonderful sibling fight, it ends up going way too far. Freya calls him pathetic and then says that's probably why your parents pawned you off. Which, ouch. That is hit an adopted person right where it hurts.
I felt it, as a friend of Sam, I really felt those lines come through. And hit me in the
You
face.
felt Sam was Freya, huh?
Yeah. Yes. I was Rip.
That leads to Freya getting grounded from training for a whole month because Vikir did not like that. Very, very mean. But Freya also didn't like that. It's a whole emotional turmoil thing because she storms off saying that she doesn't even need her father's training, and she'll show him that she can be a much better ranger than that little jerk. Got him again.
Future bad guy.
I'm thinking so
there.
as well. Either future bad guy or future badass. They could go one of two ways.
We don't know.
And immediately off of that dramatic experience, Rip wants to know about his real parents because obviously Vikir, the human, is not his real parent as far as we know. I don't know how the species relationships work in this world, but we do get to go on a giant flashback travel here. So we start hearing about his parents. We start with his dad. His name is Ken, but he went by the much cooler name Ronin because in his own words, it's just a baller bounty hunter name.
Beautiful.
It is a great name. And he was a fearsome warrior, first in a battle, last one out, was always known for taking on the biggest and most dangerous bounties, and his ultimate goal was to track down the man who destroyed his family, which he does manage, but many years later, so Vikir says. And then we meet his mom, Dawn, and Dawn and her mother were both victims of trafficking, which, take that however you will. Her captors belonged to a very large spark node harvesting ring, which we know what spark nodes are, we heard earlier. They ran tests on Dawn and her mother and found that Dawn had multiple nodes, which is apparently really rare, while her mom only had a minor node. So they were obviously torn apart. They're like, yeah, we'll take Dawn. We don't really want the mom. She kind of sucks. So they
super separate from cancer. Basically, you want to have more nodes in this world, but you don't want to have more cancer nodes in our world. So just to kind of juxtapose, it's really crazy.
R.I.P. Black Panther. So they load Dawn onto a ship, and it's bound to Vagary. Vagary is a planet with a high concentration of source energy, which apparently increases the chance of people living there having powerful spark nodes, which seems like that's the planet you want to hang out on.
Yeah.
But because of that, gangs have set up on this planet to make spark breeding facilities. But luckily, our wonderful young mom, Dawn, didn't have to go through that because mysteriously the engine on her ship fails and it crashes. That's when 3 Marshal Rangers found the wreck, along with Dawn just sleeping in the middle of it miraculously. They don't know how she survived. And one of those Rangers ended up being Vikir, who is the guy who is now in charge of Rip. And they decided to train her to become the youngest Marshal Ranger cadet yet. By the time she was 15, she was fully trained as a Marshal Ranger, so she's a little bit of a prodigy. And we find out the Marshal Ranger creed is dethrone tyranny, uphold the oppressed. So, I mean, a little bit of Assassin's Creed thing going on there. And Dawn and Ronan, we find their paths have crossed multiple times as they both take interest in trafficking-related jobs, so they've run into each other quite a few times doing jobs. One day, Dawn receives an anonymous tip about the gang who captured her as a kid operating in the condemned waste. And surprise, when you know it, that anonymous tip came from none other but Ronan, who, a.k.a. Ken. Let's not forget he's got a lame real name. Woo. Ken was hired to take down the gang's leader, Malaki, I'm going to go ahead and say. Malachi, if you remember, is the man who destroyed Ronan's family, all right? We saw a picture of him. It looks just like Malachi. It's him. And he knew he would need some help taking him down, so he hit up Dawn. He's like, hey, Dawn's pretty good. Let's call Dawn in. And so Dawn and Ronan just kind of go in and just completely wreck shop here. It doesn't even seem like it's pretty close. And just like any action comedy movie, the two finish battle and immediately realize they were in love. Yeah. And then the rest was kind of history. So Ronan decides to become a Marshal Ranger, just like Dawn, such a good guy. And after they take down many more trafficking gangs, they finally decide, like, you know what, we've done enough. Let's settle down. Let's have a family. So they find a nice secluded neutral spot where they can kind of hang out and, do their thing. Wink, wink. And we do see a hilarious panel kind of like Dawn holding what looks like a pregnancy test, which I guess they have in this world. Yeah. And thus Rip was born. So we get a quick little skip. 2 years after the birth, we get an unexpected visitor that shows up at their house, and it's Dawn's mother. Wouldn't you fucking know it? Somehow she survived. She looks like an adult, and meanwhile, Dawn looks like a kid still. So I don't know what happened there, but Dawn's mother filled out nicely.
Good point. Good catch.
Yeah. So Dawn explains that she's there on a special mission because she's hunting the organization that's behind the black market trade of spark nodes as a whole. And, of course, Dawn and Ken felt it was their duty to help end the suffering of all the other children and families because Dawn has gone through that and they don't want anybody else to do that. And so they end up going to bring little Rip to Valhalla to Vikir to take care of. And Vikir, of course, doesn't hesitate for a second. He's like, yep, no problem. I'll take him in. Once a ranger, always a ranger. Beautiful.
Huzzah.
We get a nice little sad textless kind of page after that, their goodbyes between Rip and their parents. And Rip is like 2 years old, very sad. And then now we jump back to present time with Rip and Vikir. Rip wants to know what kind of sacrifice being a ranger takes, which seems really depressing to ask out of nowhere. Yeah. Because Vikir just goes ahead and tells him, like, oh, you could have to, like, give up your home, roam the void of space, leave your family behind, risk your life in battle. It's like, damn, we're telling this young kid all of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Luckily, that does not dissuade him because we time skip to 11 years later. We meet Rip Vikir's son, age 19, Marshal Ranger Cadet at this point, and someone is about to get attacked by a mammoth because that is just something that is happening here.
We have pregnancy tests. We have woolly mammoths.
We're all over the time.
Dinos.
Yeah. It's all over. Just as the guy is about to get stomped, Rip appears, pushes the man out of the way, and gets under the mammoth foot and, like, holds it on his back. Like, he really should be getting crushed here. But this is where we see Rip now has this spark. Rip's spark is dragon strength. When Rip activates his spark node, he becomes as powerful as a dragon. As simple as that. And everybody knows dragons are way stronger than mammoths. Easy. So Rip throws the dragon into the air, jumps after it, fucking punches it right in the dome the moment its ass hits the ground. And then we get to see a nice kind of final image of Rip walking away from the mammoth. And like his 2 parents are behind him looking proud of him, all Force Ghost style. And that's the end. That is Dragon Sparking Dino Orphan.
Pretty good shit. Shit.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I liked the characters. I wish we would have had more present time stuff.
I did read. So that was what was weird is they spent, what, 2/3 of the manga? Maybe
like in a flashback?
In a flashback,
Yeah.
which wasn't like bad. I feel like it did set up a lot of good precedents for it, and like you can go further from here and now do Rip's story. But I got very dissuaded and scared when after this whole story, because as Sam said, Vikir is the last martial hunter.
Oh yeah.
So did everyone just fucking die? There was 2 other.
I didn't put that together at all because he
and
is
then his
the last
parents
martial
are Force
hunter.
Ghosts. Like what the fuck?
But they set it up also like they're still out there. Like
they do.
They do
But
mention
they
like
also have
oh
Force Ghosts.
yeah.
I'm terrified.
They're like, oh yeah, I'm sure they're still out there doing their thing, and then yeah, I don't know. That's a great point. So
yeah.
I imagine that I don't know. He's like maybe the last active one. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it could just be like we're trying to add some emphasis to this guy, but
Yeah.
now I still even if the parents are alive, like there's 2 other dudes. There's 3 or 4 other dudes actually. 2 that
I think
found
there was
her.
like two definitely, right?
But I think
There
if
was-
he's calling himself the last Vikir, then I would assume those other guys that showed up, like the 3 people that rescued her from the ship, they're probably gone.
Yeah.
So I would
Retired.
assume he probably thinks he's the last
Oh.
one. Maybe that's what he's assuming.
Yeah, that could be true.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
But I thought it was good. I liked it a lot in the beginning. I liked the sister and Rip. I liked them talking.
Yeah,
that
the
was
brother
fun.
sister thing. Yeah.
And then we spent a long time in the flashback, and that's where I feel like they use the flashback to kind of like tell you more about the world, because they're like, hey,
Yeah.
listen, our main
Yeah.
character, like Samurai 8 style, is not going to be going fucking anywhere for the first however many chapters. So let me hit you with a flashback of what his much more successful parents did, so you can kind of get a feel of
Like what they can do.
you could be
Of the
bounty
world.
hunters. You could
Yeah.
go do this. You could take down these criminal syndicates. Here's this world. So that was kind of cool. But once again, I do wish we could have seen more of like, Big Boy Rip or something.
Yeah, but the way they set themselves up, and obviously they can go back and do all the training arc between him and his younger sister. They kind of skip ahead, so now he's a full-grown adult and he's got a spark node. So like we don't have to see his training arc. We could just see him progress.
Get straight into the
or-
action.
Yeah, exactly. And we could find out like over the years his sister is now like a fucking anti-hero, fucking
She's
rogue.
the leader of a trafficking gang.
God damn it. The red light, green light.
Yep.
Yeah.
She created another bad one. But it's like, I feel like it could be, it could be a little bit of fun. Like it's got that sci-fi space set up to it where they can travel around. You could be a bounty hunter clearly.
It had a little Dragon Ball to it, like it's
Definitely a little bit.
Yeah, like it's a it's just like you said, outer space. He's raised by someone else. He's got like this cool vibe to him. I felt a little bit of Dragon Ball at the end. That was all.
And his dad was very cool. I liked Fight
Yeah.
here. Good
yeah,
guy.
he seemed like a chill guy.
So, and you do see their mom also, like the
just
mom
playing
When he's
the
running
lute.
out.
she's just kind of hanging out. You see her for
She's
just
on a
little bit.
bridge.
I also just want to call out the obvious sexism that was apparent here. Anytime the sister made fun of Rip, she had some punishment, 1,000 push-ups.
She's older.
She's the older one.
And then Rip is late, and all he gets is a little like, "Hey, bud, you could kill, like somebody could die, if you don't show up on time." Your sister, though, she's gonna be jacked as fuck with how awful she is as a person. She's just gonna be a dick. So I need more, less oppression on the female.
Josh, she's
cast.
older. She should know better. And
Yeah,
she's actually, their child. So it's like you can kind of be
Yeah.
more of a dick to them. Meanwhile, your
Yeah.
adopted son, you're like, oh, it's okay. It's like,
no, you got to establish precedence. Be a dick to the adopted kid, and just kind of look at the
yeah,
the
okay, that's
daughter
how you
like,
end up in a horror movie.
yeah, good point. Or Harry Potter.
Oh, true. One of two. Flip the
Yeah.
coin. So did you guys have anything
Yeah.
else to say about this one? I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
enjoyed it too.
I genuinely enjoyed
And it's like
it.
the art style is different. Definitely different
Yeah.
from a lot of the usual ones that we're reading, but I liked it. Okay, well, let's move into the one you'll be talking about today. It's going to be Seven Samurai Folding by Ryan Watanabe. So go ahead, Jose.
All right, so To note, this is his second entry. He's already got, Tofu Dragon,
You're
my
allowed
boy.
to. So
Yeah.
So it starts off pretty cool. I thought this was going to be somewhat similar to Tofu Dragon, but it's completely different.
Yeah.
Um, but it starts off with a pretty cool intro with just a nice little quote. It's like, when you close your eyes, what do you see? Your dreams, or it's like, or your past kind of thing. Your past or your dreams, and all you see is someone kind of like falling, and it looks like he's getting ready to attack with a slash over his eye. And that's just like the first two pages you see. But now it cuts to what I assume is modern time, and it's literally a guy. He's like the story follows Jisei. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right. So it follows Jisei, and then how fame and fortune kind of changes him as he joins this very popular group known as the Seven Samurai. And it starts with him just being in an arcade, being a dude just hanging out playing, getting his butt kicked by this kid picking his nose, to which he starts yelling and starts going like, "Hey, bro, you're supposed to take it easy on me. I got my fans, blah blah blah." And then it cuts to some old dude working at some shop and some other workers, but in the text bubbles it shows that they're all Samurai 7 guild members. To which it cuts to another guild member, Makoto, and then he's upset because he's doing Jisei's job, and Jin, who's the leader, is there and just telling him, "Hey, relax. You were once a rookie." He's kind of letting it all go to his head. He's just doing whatever he wants. To which he says, "Don't worry. We have a meeting today. I've already sent 2 people to go pick up Jisei." Then it cuts back to him, kind of just having a great time. But you kind of get the sense that he's kind of a dick. Like he's all about, girls, the fame, the glory. And then this sheep kid is like, "Hey, dude, let me get your autograph," and he just smacks it out of his hand. Um, to which he decides to go and get wasted and picks a fight with, I think, is the bouncer of the place. I'm just gonna say he's like a bouncer or just, some tough dude. Because, he's wearing sunglasses indoors, so he's a tough guy. He then kind of starts an altercation where he gets pushed out, and then he's like, "Yo, don't you know who I am? Don't you recognize this emblem on my back?" And to which he's like, "You know what? I'm about to show you." He starts to unsheath his sword, and then immediately is stopped by one of his guild mates, and then immediately gets sucker punched by someone else. Use the
Right.
bigger dude, and Ray sucker punches him, and then she starts asking why he dragged her brother into it, and he's just using him to kind of like for all his scams and all his little things that he does. Meanwhile, at this point, you find out that being part of the Seven Samurai is actually a huge thing because it's one of the top guilds in all the land. Then the dude's like, "Oh, sorry, blah blah blah," and they all bow down in respects and apologize. To which they finally get back to the meeting where they're all kind of sitting down, and he's just kind of being, that arrogant kid. He's like, I'm really good at what I do," but he just doesn't care about anything. And then the master talks about how they're going to go on their next mission, and their mission is to escort someone to an art museum. And he's just like, "Oh, this is glorified babysitting. I don't want to do this." He starts leaving, to which he kind of, shenanigans ensue. Everyone starts fighting, some fun stuff. And then immediately he's like, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna take some sake. I'm gonna dip." And everyone's like, "Oh, why did you bring him on to the guild? He's not that cool, whatever. Just because he was friends with your little sister, all this and that." And then everyone's like, "No, no, we don't talk about that anymore." He's like, "He's just a good swordsman, whatever." Cuts back to him like leaving, and he's actually just getting drunk in a cemetery where you find out that Jin's little sister died. Meanwhile, he's just kind of like chilling, drinking at this tombstone, and then he sees what I mean. If I saw this too, I'd be a little freaked out. Just a chick in all white, and she's there, and he thinks it's a ghost, so he tries to touch her, but she's actually physically there.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't think my first reaction to seeing a ghost is grabbing her hair, but to each their own.
hmm
Yeah.
He then just continues to talk about his relationship with her, and then talks about how he should have joined instead of her, and by joining I mean the guild. So he talks about joining the guild, how she joined the guild and dies on her first mission,
Big rip.
totally unprepared. But they were close, and he feels it was his fault because he was like naturally kind of great with the sword. So then I'm just gonna refer to her as Ghost Girl. Ghost Girl just keeps asking him like, "Oh, why'd you join the guild? Is it super cool? Do you enjoy doing guild stuff?" And he's just like, "Oh, I like being rich, whatever." But she asks him what guild you're from, and he says, "Oh, I'm from Seven Samurai. It's the patch is here on my back." He's like, it's cool because this way I don't have to see it, and this way it doesn't remind me of his little the guy's little sister. But anyways, they were supposed to meet up, and since he ran off and got drunk, he decides to finally look at his phone. He's like, "Oh shit, I'm late to the mission." So he finally rushes over there, which he still tells the girl because she's so fascinated by the guilds that she can tag along. So finally, he barges in and he just sees everybody. Just, I'm assuming they're all dead,
Yeah, it felt like it, right?
right? I wasn't sure if they were beat up, but it looks more like they're all dead. So he sees this dude in a pig mask, and he's just standing there. And I'm not 100% sure what kind of weapon it actually is. Naginata is what he calls it,
It's
right?
like a pole arm spear thing.
Yeah. To which the pigman uses it to kind of shoot a laser, or so you think it's a laser at first. But our MC quickly figures out that it's not a laser. What it's actually doing, it's like extending, I think. Yeah, and he's controlling it with a like a click almost, and he compares it to a click of a pen. So he figures out a way to close the distance and get in close. So he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to do this. It's either all or nothing." So he legit goes in for the full on attack, knowing well that he's gonna get injured. He legit gets hit in the face right on the right side of the eye, and he takes out the pig man. But as all this is happening, they're exchanging words, and he just goes, "Who the hell are you?" And he's like, "My name is Snake of the Seven Samurai," which I thought was super cool. And then it shows everybody above him as he
That
cuts across the body.
that's their ghosts, more than likely.
Yeah, Force Ghost. I see there's a theme. To which he kind of says, "Hey, I'm sorry, everybody, I let you all down." And then it kind of goes full circle where it brings you to the first part of the story, and you see him kind of falling down. Ghost Girl's like, "Oh, Mr. Samurai, I'll go get police," and he's like, "Nah." He's like, "Just chill," and she's like, "Okay, I won't go anywhere." And I'm pretty sure he dies.
Yeah, pretty sure they're all dead.
Yep,
The
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 whole
fucking
seven samurai are all dead.
the senator dude isn't in any of the photos though. Like he's not there. The
He's in the.
croissant ass. No,
I
like
think it.
he's not there in the dead scene.
Oh yeah, he's definitely not there. So I feel like it was a setup,
Betrayal. I mean,
right?
realistically, they're probably not dead. Let's just.
Yeah, right. Like they're just probably really beat
But it
up, and
does read like a fucking Shakespearean play or some shit where they all just get murdered.
yep,
Yeah.
But it's like it's very easily could be like, oh no, we're fine. But it was
yeah,
weird that is like she's like, I'm gonna go get the police, and he's like, no, just stay here. It's like, why? Why? You just got stabbed in the face. Like, what's happening?
because
Yeah.
he just kind of wants to be held by somebody. He thinks he's dying.
Yeah, he
I
could be
mean,
held by
I hope
someone
he's
from the
not.
fucking ambulance.
I hope
Yeah,
he's not, because I kind of went over it really fast, but Jin, the guild leader, talks about how he's not just an asshole. He's actually kind of a really nice, kind kid and stuff like that. He's just got a tough exterior because of what happened.
Which is a classic.
Yeah, except for, if he really is a nice guy, all of his friends are potentially alive, maybe dead, should get medical attention, so the girl should have called the police. But, he just wanted to have her hand in his hand. So, GG. I liked it. What do you guys think?
I liked it. It very much reminded me of actual like anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very good. The comedy was good in it. I liked the setup at the beginning. I liked all of the characters that are really good. They hardcore death flag that old guy. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like 3 days till retirement. We just gotta hang in. It's like, oh, is he gonna die? It's like,
Yeah.
I think his name was G, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
99
was
year old
99.
dude.
Yep.
If everyone isn't dead, he's totally dead. He totally died in that. I hope
No,
not.
they're probably all alive.
Nah,
You think?
Yeah.
they're just beat up. It's kind of like when you walk into a battle scene and all your friends are beat up on the floor, but then you finally beat the monster, and then you're like, oh wait, they're all alive. I hope.
I don't remember much of the anime, but I do remember one part of Rurouni Kenshin where the guy that's like the antithesis to Rurouni has pretty much decimated everyone 1v1, and the guy with the big spade blade comes in last second. That's how this felt. Like everyone just got their fucking asses handed to him by this guy, and then you cut to him fighting him. But it was cool. It was super different too, because we've read Tofu Dragons, and that was more like whimsical, kind of like all over the place. It was still fun to read, but like this one was definitely like a lot more serious. Like Jose said, it was like an anime, so it was pretty cool. I liked it.
There's a lot of detail in this, so you kind of have to go back and read it. One really cool thing I did see though was like when he's holding his phone, it looked kind of like Goku, or at least Goku's hair.
I
It's
didn't
just a
see that.
funny little nod. I don't know if he put that intentionally or not, but it kind of reminded me of Goku.
Yeah, that was all around good. I liked comedy in it a lot, but I think the comedy in Dragon Tofu was good too. So
Yeah.
he's good with the comedy. Okay, let's move on to our last one. We're gonna be doing Red Sunday by Brian Williams as our last one. Go ahead, Josh.
All right. So we start with our main character. He's a young boy named Ryan with the super edgy spelling version of it. I was tripped up for quite a while trying to read that.
Kinda dope.
But he's basically carrying some groceries and an old lady on his back. And we find out that just prior to this, there was essentially an attack on the city. There's a big fire, and it was caused by this dude that had evolved into like some weird creature. So he got her out of there. And we're kind of introduced to the term Vanguard, and the main reason why Ryan wants to become one is because he wants to feel useful. So then we cut to after all this little banter with the old lady, we cut to a chase scene with Ryan, I apologize, following another evolved being, which is now revealed to be what they call Banes. And despite trying to reason with the Bane, Ryan is unable to get through to the creature. Then we're shown this character subdue the creature all in like one fell swoop, and it's revealed to be Rissandra, a pro Vanguard, which actually happens to be Ryan's mother. She then gives him a serum from called EBB, and it's able to actually revert your evolution into a Bane, but you're able to keep the powers that were caused in your evolution. You just lose some of your memories.
That was kind of cool, actually.
Yeah,
You know?
there
Hope.
didn't seem like a huge drawback, but part of me in the back of my mind's like, there's some ulterior motive because they said, hey, we got to keep tabs on you for a little bit. What if they're doing this as like a trafficking thing? You know, we've got trafficking in Sam's, we've got Force Ghost in Jose's and Sam's. I could have both, you know?
Well, I mean, you find the drawback out later when she's talking about it.
True, but it seems like a minor drawback in comparison.
That you might kill somebody? Hello?
Wait, what?
Did you not read that?
Did I miss that?
They talk about
She
how you're
straight up
basically a
says it.
second-class citizen if you're one of the people who has to evolve, and you just have to pray and hope that you don't fucking murder somebody when you evolve or like ruin society.
Oh yeah, no, you could kill people as being an evolved person. I was saying that the problem with being evolved as a Bane, or like the serum, is that the serum's fallback is that you lose your memories, but you get to keep your powers and everything like that you got as evolved.
Yeah, but you were like, oh, that seems good, but it's not good.
Yeah.
You're a second-class citizen.
Okay, fair.
I would
fair,
just
fair.
hope you got some cool powers out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you have to go through that while other people are being fucking born with My Hero Academia quirks, just
Yep.
willy-nilly.
So, after that, we get some reassurance from Rissandra to Ryan. Basically, he's not confident in his powers, but he's still a kid, and she's saying you're doing great for what you are, and we'll keep training and we'll work on it. So clearly, they're defining that the mother's going to die eventually in this story.
There was a lot of Wincest themes going on throughout this whole. She was very touchy-feely with him constantly.
Yeah, I did get that feel just slightly, but I wasn't trying to be like, oh, that's my fucked up Pornhub head. But, you know, here we are. So thank you, Sam. Our combined fucked up Pornhub heads are...
Well, she was very touchy-feely. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Huge personalities. Anyway, so we go back to their friend's house, Huya, or I think they all live together, but it's Rissandra's friend, and she's cooking for him.
Friend quotes.
He had a dad. He had a dad.
Yeah, you're right. He had a dad, which
I've seen
we
this
never really
before. Two people of the same gender living together, telling everybody they're friends.
Yeah,
Chuck and Larry.
It's like, I bet they only have one bed between the two of them, too.
It's tough. You know, it's really expensive living as a Vanguard.
You would think the pay's better.
So after basically we have like a little quirky bit with Huya, the mother, and Ryan about her cooking. We get a brief spar between the mother and Ryan, and that's when we learn right after the namesake of the manga, Red Sunday, which was essentially a volcanic eruption that went off years ago, and it had some material in it that caused people to basically evolve spontaneously. So you either evolved and had these superpowers, like Sam said, as a quirk or something like that, or you evolved into a fucking Bane, which seemed kind of shitty because you either got one or you became a fucking murderous creature. So we kind of cut to the future. Basically, this is now the norm. And after all this, we find out Ryan goes to bed, and Ryan is now having the reoccurring dream he's been talking about. It's a nightmare. Basically, what's happened is the city's on fire. There's piles of dead bodies, and he's the lone survivor. He's crying. He doesn't understand why. He wants to know what monster caused all this. And some debris falls on him, and he wakes up. He hears talking in the living room between Huya and Rissandra, and that's when we hear classic, you're adopted normally was what you would normally hear in a typical movie. We find out that Ryan was actually the murderous thing. He's reliving the night, and he was serumed, and he forgot basically that he killed all those people as a Bane. So he naturally freaks the fuck out, dips out, and he starts like coming to terms and realizing that he didn't want to just be useful, and he didn't want to just help people because he was a good guy. It was because he was like subconsciously guilty for having murdered so many people. And then typical, he's out in the forest in the middle of the night, and a Bane shows up and ambushes him. And this is where I kind of got pissed and sad. Basically, the mom did the mom thing and got in between the Bane and Ryan and got stabbed and impaled in the chest. She then holds out a serum and kind of gives him a little pep talk. Then we get Ryan basically unlocking his ability, which he's used before. He just has trouble using it against other people. He beats the Bane and then administers the serum that his mom had gave him right then. So the guy is able to turn back into a human. Then we get a jump cut, and he is now a full-fledged Vanguard. He's now referred to as the kind-hearted Vanguard, and he's kind of just keeping his mother's legacy going on, and that's how the story ends. So pretty sad in the last few seconds, but also pretty good. I kind of like where it's going. So what'd you guys think?
I have a huge qualm with that move in anime and manga in general. If you have the time to throw your body in between somebody, you have the time to just tackle that said person out of the way. It doesn't make any logistical sense why you would do that, especially for his mom, who is so good at being a Vanguard. And I think her ability wasn't like she could hella punch somebody. It's like just move them out of the way.
Yeah. I felt that too. There was no lead up. She wasn't weakened or anything. Like she didn't have a fight with this creature.
Yeah, the dumb move.
Her. Yeah, so I think she just wanted to be a dick, and she couldn't deal with her son being a murderer.
She's like, fuck, he found out. Now I gotta go toss myself.
Yeah.
It felt like that. And, ultimately I get why they did it. They got to push the story along. They got to get the kid to have his reasons and his like driving force to do it. But like he already kind of alluded to not having a dad. Like, remember he said something about, oh, dad always told me about that grin that the mom had. Where the fuck is the dad?
He's away on a mission, okay?
He
just hasn't come back yet.
Suicided first. So
yeah. Oh, I bet he's real pissed. And she shows up and he's like, I got away from you originally. But yeah, other than that, which I agree with Sam, that was a huge qualm of mine because she had established she was super fast, super strong. There was no real reason for her to get impaled.
Well, people do that in anime all the time. It's just a fucking dramatic move, but it doesn't make any logistical sense to do that.
Yeah, and it's sad, because now this dude murdered a bunch of people, and he's immediately told he has to be, happy after his mom died in front of him.
I would say especially, like, if it's a melee fight. It doesn't make any sense to do that. If someone is shooting a gun, then, you're probably going to have to jump in between it because you can't get to the guy with the gun. Yeah. But if you're already within range, just hit him.
Yeah, I agree.
But it was good. The setup's kind of nice. It's kind of like a little bit My Hero Academia, but with this like shittier side to it. And I don't mean shitty as in bad, but like a 50-50 coin toss. You could be in the shittier side of society.
Yeah, in the My Hero world, you could either get
20% chance.
Yeah, you could get no quirk.
There's straight no quirk. This one, you get turned into a fucking monster, and hope to God someone gives you the serum before you fucking kill somebody. Otherwise, you're screwed.
Yeah.
And one plot point I didn't bring up in the summary is basically they realize that these Banes are starting to pop up more and more frequently. So they're kind of alluding it to it being a planned like thing. That's why I'm kind of curious where the serum came from, why people are still having superpowers after. So I'm curious if that's what they're going to elaborate on later on, that it's basically a controlled plan. They want to evolve everyone, kind of thing, and they want to keep tabs on them, like they're microchipping people, like
Yeah,
Bill
okay.
Gates.
Can we talk about how shitty Huya, was that her name? Huya's
Huya,
superpower
yeah.
was? That
didn't
shit, I
understand
would
it.
be
Yeah, I'd
pissed
be-
if that
oof.
was my superpower. Basically,
So-
she always knows how something could not have happened after the fact.
It
So,
felt like Captain Hindsight.
yeah, it's exactly what that is. It's like, oh, I could have done this, and that's how that explosion would have happened. Was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, wow, Huya, that is so useless. Please leave.
She even tries to say, "Oh, yeah, I wish I had a better power," and they're like, "No, Huya, you're a shit cook, and you have a decent power,
Yeah.
and you could be a great teacher one day." It's like, why didn't she assisted
I
suicide?
am saying though, teacher
She would've
profession
known.
would be perfect for that. For
Yeah,
that
definitely.
power.
Yeah, and I feel like that power could be one of those things where it's like, "Oh, I've done everything wrong up until this point, and I know all the outcomes that could possibly happen. I win," kind of thing like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's
But
like she
she
could be
could
looking
have
back
been-
on history and be like, "Oh, this is what they needed to do for that not
Yeah,
to happen."
That's true.
It's like, here's how Anne
Also-
Frank could have not been found. Let me just tell you guys really quick.
It would have been great though if she was the one that died instead of the mother, and she just said in her dying words, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that."
It's like she's stabbed through the chest. It doesn't make
Ooh.
strategic sense to dive in front like that.
Oof.
Fuck,
She's
I
like,
should have
She
known.
didn't do it. I should have stopped
and,
her.
And like Sam says, I agree. This isn't like to this manga. It's not specific to this manga. People do this in most animes that have like some significant parent characters supposed to die. We just have a gripe with that trope. But
Hey.
other than that, it was like we said, it was good.
Okay, let's get to discussing and deciding which one we like the best. So the three we did this week, once again, Dragon Sparking Dino Orphan by Nathan K. McWilliams, Seven Samurai Folding by Ryan Watanabe, and Red Sunday by Brian Williams. Does any of them stick out to you? Anyone maybe you like the least that you wouldn't want to do?
I personally like Dragon Sparking Dino Orphan probably the most. But as far as the least, I don't think anything was bad to the point where it's like I really just wouldn't want to read more of it. So that was good.
Jose?
On Josh's boat, where I thought Dragon Sparking Dino was probably like the I don't know. I just like the interactions between the siblings kind of thing. I always think that's kind of funny and like a great kick. Like Seven Samurai Folding is definitely like something I normally would watch. And then there's Red Sunday One Shot, which is a one shot.
So which
Yeah.
you like the
Which
best?
I don't know, out of the three, it's literally between Dragon and Seven Samurai Folding for me. I'll say I'm gonna go with my boy because I thought there was a lot more potential to that one.
Except they're
Seven-
all fucking dead, Jose.
Yeah, that's Seven
Uh,
Samurai Folding.
We don't know if they're dead.
Yeah.
I kind of like the main character though. I thought he was kind of funny.
Yeah, I did like his turnaround arc, but I'm curious how everyone else got their ass handed to him, and he was the only one able to defeat them. Like,
I wish we could have seen that, just a little bit of like the betrayal, and then just like
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
I
I
think
think
that's-
that was the setup where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
because they make you think he's the one that walks in, but then it's not him, and then when he shows up, everybody's fucked up. So I kind of like
Yeah.
it that way more than us already knowing they got their shit pushed in.
yeah. But I'm going for Seven Samurai Folding.
Okay. Sam.
Okay, so for me, I would say easily Red Sunday I liked the least. It was good, but I liked both Dragon Sparking Dino Orphan and Seven Samurai Folding much more. Seven Samurai Folding I feel like had more of a fun cast. I liked the three casts. I liked kind of there's like a guild setup kind of fairy tale wise. I just didn't know enough about that world or anything, or what am I gonna see off that? Like they do mention there's a ranking system for the guilds, obviously, and they've
But
been
what are they
deranked.
fighting?
Oh yeah,
they
because
went down
of the main
from
character.
9, so they're not getting the government funding. So like there's little trinkets of stuff in there where it's like, okay, there's stuff there. And then they have the fucking Shakespearean ending, and I'm just like, oh man, okay. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that world didn't matter. We're gonna cut to the new world after
Yeah,
this.
it's like
because-
fucking hell. And I'm sure they're fine. And I'm sure it's gonna be like, oh man, rough fight. And they're just gonna
Well,
be lots of guild stuff.
I think it is a one shot.
Well, yeah, it is a one shot. But
Yeah.
like a lot of times one shots, they're like, here's
They
the
get
intro
expanded
to the
upon.
story. Let me bait you in so I could sell this.
a
and then-
pilot episode.
Pilot episode. And then Dragon Sparking Dino Orphan, I didn't like the cast of characters as much as I did for Seven Samurai Folding, but I do like the world of it, the traveling, that they're basically like almost, I guess, space marines that they're training and they're traveling around. I like the sparks. That's pretty cool. I would like to see more of what the sister's doing. So I just purely based on the fact that I feel like I know more of the world and what to expect, I would have to go with Dragon Sparking Dino Orphan for the one.
I agree with that.
I just can see more clearly where we're going, even though I kind of like the characters more in Seven Samurai Folding. I kind of like, I think Dragon Sparking is a better one shot.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because you could definitely expand heavily. If all those characters survive, you have a list of cast with like individual personalities that you could totally explore for a while.
And it's unique.
So.
The main character's a fucking dino, so there
True.
you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so congratulations to Dragon Sparking Dino Orphan by Nathan K. McWilliams. We liked your manga the most. 2 out of 3 votes, so you're the winner. Congratulations. So we'll be back. We're probably going to do this. I don't know when they're going to announce the official winner. I believe it said sometime in December. So we might be doing this for quite a long time, because they are leaving the website open to read the submissions, but submissions are closed. And holy hell, there were a lot of submissions that went in last second. So we'll probably be working our way through viewer submissions for quite a while, because we have a lot of them to go through, and that just makes it easy for us to pick. So if you've submitted your own, feel free to reach out to us, whether that be in the comments. We get a lot of hits on Instagram or Twitter. Just hit us up on anything, and we'll get back to you, and I can add it to the list. With that, thanks for watching, you guys. We'll be back with some more Jump to Tezuka, and I hope to see you guys next time.